Bud Tucker, what up, homie? Oh, shit. 8 o'clock. Gotta hit play.
333 RIP P, Don P, PhD. Yo. I said, RIP TV, tell a homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community, that's what P showed me. We lost without the unity, where the fuck is the OGs? RIP P, God bless the real. Only for the righteous, the rest will go to hell. Flipping through the book of Revelation, figure it out. Transliterate the translation, do it yourself. It's the last days, life is a test and we in a cage. Concrete jungle, everyday struggle. Fuck the pain, I'm on some HNIC shit. Hegelian 3 shit. If you don't know what I mean, you was never G. Real shit, R.I.P. Yo, P, play that beat back, 333. Burn some weed, repeat that. Shake me up a tuka pack, break me off for 20 piece. I'm gone, never looking back. Y'all can't talk to me. RIP TV, tell a homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community, that's what P showed me. We lost without the unity, where the fuck is the OGs? Like the weed, play some IMD for me. It's hell on earth for real, but y'all don't wanna see paper trail politics. All the shit was prophecy, strictly for the family. Peace to the prodigy. RIP P, I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams, bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. RIP P, I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams, bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. Yo.
This is not supposed to be.
This is not supposed to be about rap music, because it's not. This is about football. What up, everybody? Perfect timing, gentlemen. Literally perfect timing.
What up, fellas?
That's good.
Damn, Roger Harper got the hoodie that matched the beard. What the fuck? That shit is dope. That shit is fly as hell, yo. I need me one of those. I
need your hoodie, man. Shit.
I can't grow a beard like that though, so this is all I got.
That's what I was saying. I need that hoodie too, Raj. I need that hoodie too.
I've been working, man. I've been working, yo. I'm working.
All good. It's all good.
Yo, so what's good, fellas?
Yeah, trying to make it happen, bro. It's been, I've been running. Finished up some books. Now I'm in the final week of my rehearsals for the show I'm putting on this Saturday. Putting on a Zoom reading of the play Sweat by Lynn Nottage. It's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser for Broadway for Racial Justice. $10 tickets. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be.
Send me some information. Send me some information, man.
I will do it. I will do it. Done.
Yeah, you guys know we are in the down period of NFL activity, that's for sure. But Kerry knows my affinity for this individual, and of course I'm going to talk about this ahead of all other things.
I know it.
This man literally had the NFL career that I wanted, and I loved it.
Reminds me of you too.
Yeah, dude, just plays. There is no fear. Played hurt. Worked his way from a college option quarterback into a punt returner into. He was not going to be a Hall of Famer. Let's be realistic. That's the second question we're going to get to. But
drafted round 7.
Drafted in round 7. But what a career he ended up having for Julian Edelman, man. What a career he ended up having. And 3 Super Bowl titles, a Super Bowl MVP, and we remember that Atlanta Super Bowl. They literally could not stop this man.
The double catch.
And he had the catch. I mean, come on, man. He had one of the most. And somebody did say something today they said, well, he might not. It was AJ Hawk. He said Julian Edelman might not make it to the Hall of Fame, but that catch did.
Yeah.
He said that catch is going to be played on NFL commercials and films for the rest of history.
Did he retire?
Yeah, he retired. Called it quits.
I didn't even.
Yeah, he was released on yesterday, and he released a video. I hadn't seen the whole video, but yeah, it's a nice little thing.
The special that he had on Cinemax, that was pretty nice. That was dope.
Yeah, him and his family and all that. I like he's hustler. His father worked him. You know what I mean? Okay. But that's why he said he hated him, but he loved him. Because if he didn't do him like that,
he wouldn't be where he was at.
All right, so 2 questions in regards to Julian Edelman. A, we'll get the elephant out of the room. I mean, I don't know if there's a bigger Julian Edelman fan than myself or somebody who has more affinity for his career than me, and I will tell you he does not deserve to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Patriots Ring of Honor, yes, guaranteed. NFL Hall of Fame, I mean, second in playoff catches, I get that, but that's also, look at the amount of playoff games that you get to participate in when you play for New England.
Also, look at there was a new era. They were throwing the rock. You know what I mean? You weren't turning around, handing it to Walter 30 times a game. He's a baller for sure. If you think about it, of the 20 years that Tom has been there and all of the championships they've won, if you think about the amount of Hall of Famers from those teams, you're not going to come up with a lot. You're not going to come up with a lot of people. You're not going to come up with a lot of names. Ty Law just went in, yeah.
Ty Law, you'll get Tom, easy. Randy Moss, but that's a 3-year rental. That doesn't even count. Gronk.
He's Vikings.
Yeah, Gronk. And then you'll have to look at Vinatieri.
Yeah, Adam Vinatieri. Now let's look at the defenders. Any of those defenders?
No, I didn't name.
I know Vince Wilfork was there.
No, I didn't name any of them for a reason. They're not going to get into the NFL Hall of Fame. Richard Seymour had the closest chance, but his career fizzled out after he left New England anyway. Wilfork, for football heads, we would say Wilfork deserves to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, but the writers won't.
Dante Hightower didn't do it long enough. Gerard Mayo was just too hurt. He was a thumper. I like Mayo.
Teddy Bruschi.
What about the defensive end that's on ESPN now?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Out of Virginia, he was a Cavalier. Yeah, with he got the S curl. He was there. It was Chris Slade, and he was on the other side. You know who we talking about, Joe? Oh man, the name's flying right out of my head. About 6'5", 6'6". He was a monster too.
Nah, but you don't
know.
If Teddy Bruschi's not getting into the Hall of Fame, none of those defenders are.
Nah.
Teddy Bruschi had a stroke and came back and won Super Bowls.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
And I mean, he was the heart and soul of the defense. So these are Ring of Honor types of players.
Right.
I would put Hines Ward in the Hall of Fame 15 times before I put Edelman in there.
Sure, absolutely.
I agree.
Not even a question about that. Yeah.
But just
and also, it took 4 years for Drew Pearson to get into the Hall of Fame.
So
Pearson.
You look at I don't want to give him the Bob Orry. He wasn't quite. Because as a Patriots fan, you look at Playoff Danny as the clutch guy. His name's fucking Playoff Danny, for Christ's sakes. But, because Carrie, and Edelman has a history of drops in the regular season. But not in the postseason.
Right.
So he was a clutch performer. Now, the other thing that I want to bring up about Edelman, and it's interesting how they always do this, the way that his contract was structured and his release was structured, if he feels like he wants to come back for a playoff run down in Tampa, totally 100% can do it.
Really?
Yes, because the Patriots released him.
He did release him.
Yeah,
that's Tom's boy.
Yeah, and that's Tom's. That's literally his best friend.
Yeah, that's his boy.
So, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if you don't see Edelman making a Gronk-like playoff run down in Tampa. Yeah, why not, Tom? Especially if there's an injury. If there's an injury, I could see that happening instantly.
Because they haven't signed Antonio Brown yet, have they?
They haven't signed Antonio Brown, and here's the funny thing about the Edelman being released. He can say he's retired, not be under NFL drug testing protocols, get roided and juiced up, get his body healed through through chemicals, and then come back for a playoff run. It'll be fully legal.
Yeah.
So, the other big thing that happened, it wasn't really big, there's just not a whole lot going on this week. Carrie, I don't know if you saw this one because I figured you would have texted me when you saw it, because even I was just like, are you fucking serious? So the Bucks signed Giovanni Bernard.
I did see that. I just saw that today, though.
Dude, it's just everybody's going down there now. And this was a Tom Brady recruit. Tom Brady was hitting Bruce Arians up. It's like, yo, go get that guy.
Because Shady McCoy didn't pan out exactly the way, so he will then be the Shady McCoy role.
Well, the James White role. They're looking to fill that James White.
Well, I mean, out the James White, but that's what Shady was supposed to be. Shady was supposed to fill the James White role. So now they're getting someone a little younger who will actually do it.
Yeah, somehow, some way, after signing all 22 starters back for another run, the Bucks continue to improve their roster. And we haven't even hit the draft yet.
Willie McGinnis.
Oh, okay.
Willie McGinnis. There you go.
He said the S curl. That's
Yeah.
Now you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I do now. Yo, I swear to God, when you said that, all I saw in my head was somebody light skinned. And I was just like, who the fuck is he talking about?
He almost light skinned. He almost.
I kept thinking of Kyle Van Noy. I'm just like, he wasn't there long enough. Oh, shit. But yeah, Giovanni Bernard going down there. It's like, how many, the whole rich get richer thing is.
I mean, and this is going to be, and for someone like Giovanni Bernard, he could shine in that situation. You know what I mean? Not as big, strong as Kevin Falk, but he can run out the backfield and catch passes with the best of them.
Yeah, they don't need him to be as strong as Kevin Falk. That's what they got the other guys for.
Like Leonard Fournette and Ron Jones.
I mean, especially playoff Letty.
Yeah.
That's all he is angry runs. So,
speaking of angry runs, another running back was on the move. James Conner.
I was just about to say that up.
Segue. You know how we segue.
Perfect. Yeah, James Conner on the move.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't working out in Pittsburgh, so.
Yeah. You know what?
He stayed injured too much.
Well, Roger, there's a even though Pittsburgh hasn't run the ball in the last decade, it seems like there's this stigma of there's a bar that's been set for a running back in Pittsburgh, and if you aren't some big bruising playoff first down running 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of back, it just doesn't fit the stigma, and he just didn't.
But the problem is, he got a G his first couple years there. He did. And because he put his body on the line the way he did with inadequate line play, he got beat the fuck up. He got beat up. And he wasn't catching as many passes as Le'Veon Bell was, and he's not as elusive as Le'Veon Bell. So Le'Veon was able to, avoid a lot of contact and save himself. James Conner's full throttle. I mean, it's the dude who was doing chemo and still going to practices when he was in college.
Yeah, nobody's questioning his toughness. I'm just questioning his body's physical ability to play the style that he's trying to play at that level.
Right, because he became the running game. So really, when they were saying the running game failed, it was like they were indicting him. But you also, where was his backups? You know what I mean? That running back room. I'm not shitting on any professional running back, but I'm just saying that running back room wasn't stout. It just wasn't. And then the offensive line play wasn't that amazing.
It's really weird how Pittsburgh has decided to build their team recently, because you see teams like Green Bay not do anything in free agency ever, and you have Aaron fucking Rodgers, right? Mm-hmm. And then you see Tom goes down to Tampa, and they're like, whatever you need, we'll give you, right? Mm-hmm. And Pittsburgh, typically, defense, run the ball. That's control the line of scrimmages on both sides, eat up the clock. We're going to win this game the physical way. These last couple of years, it's just been Ben, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, just throwing it 60 times a game, and they have spent all of their cap space trying to get a proper wide receiver room. Kerry, how many wide receivers in the last 10 years have gone into Pittsburgh for 2 years and then gone somewhere else?
To get that money, because,
all of them. Every single one of them does.
Yeah. I mean, and also look at it. When Ben was out and you had Mason Rudolph in, and then you had duck call in, the one who could do the duck calls.
Whack, 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 whack.
Yeah. James Conner was getting the rock. Let's not forget this. And they almost made a playoff. And that was on the terms of Conner. I just didn't really like how they were trying to spin it like it was all on James Conner, like it was just James Conner or bust. Well, then that's your fault, because I saw a team in the 49ers who had their third string running back putting up 100 yards. So I don't like it. Just I felt like it all came down on him. Yeah, he was injured, but look at it. Who really was spelling him? You know what I mean? Under a line that wasn't that great. Middle of the pack at best.
All right, so Joey Backstreet gets reunited with a friend of his. And we were wondering, we just discussed what happened to this guy, because it seems like his rookie year he did not do a whole lot. But Thaddeus Moss moves on to Cincinnati and gets paired back with Joey Burrow. So,
which they needed a tight end.
But that works out for both of them.
Perfect.
They're already friends. They already have rapport and chemistry.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. He loves the spin of Joey Boy Band's balls.
Yeah.
Pause. All right.
And realistically, Cincinnati's not that far away from central West Virginia, so he's close to his dad now.
Yeah.
So that's nice. So that works out for him. So the Patriots are rumored to be on the move on draft day for a quarterback.
Yeah, some mocks have them moving up. I saw one had them moved up to 10, which is not going to be far enough to get a quarterback. They got to move up in the top 6.
Now remember, you have they do have oh man, this weed has made my brain retarded this last week, Roger. Jesus Christ. Stephon Gilmore on the trading as available trade fodder. So you're looking at,
that makes sense.
You're looking at the second best corner in the NFL by most metrics, behind Jalen Ramsey, and a former defensive player of the fucking year at corner. In the middle of his prime. He is literally in the middle at the peak of his abilities, and so they've been wanting to move him anyway. So there you go. That along with the unlimited amount of draft capital that Bill Belichick builds every single fucking year. So the guy that they're aiming for, and it makes sense after this whole test thing came out, is Justin Fields. That's your guy. Yep. That's your guy, Roger Harper.
Yes.
Yep. He did a second pro day. People didn't understand why, but I guess San Francisco and San Francisco is the one he did the pro day for today, actually, I believe.
Yeah, San Francisco was there today. Yeah. And another team. I can't remember which team it was.
Well, I mean, it's funny that that San Francisco's not trying to run any game, any distraction, because they moved all the way up to third. And we know number 1 and number 2. So San Francisco,
the serious assessment.
There's an actual assessment of just like, all right, what do we really have in this? We're not really set on Mac Jones or this kid, because once this kid goes and scores the highest score in the AIQ test in the history of the fucking test, the highest ever, Bill Belichick was just like, wait a minute, what? He can retain information that how quickly? Oh, yeah, no, we need that guy to run this offense. So I see the Patriots really trying to make a move to make this happen because this seems like this is their type of guy. Now, they don't move up to draft anybody, but high intelligence, information retention, and he's going to be playing with the chip on his shoulder because he went from being possible number 1 to the 4th or 5th best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah,
exactly.
1 or 2 to now to the 5th. Like, I'm gonna have a quarterback who only played 17 games in college when I went to the playoffs 2 years in a row in a natty, and I'm gonna have Trey Lance picked over me. No shade on Trey, but what? What's your resume looking like? You played 1 game this past season. I took my team to the natty. How you getting picked over me? What are you talking about? It makes no sense.
With me being here in Columbus, the rumor is the Patriots is going hard for him, going at him hard, trying to get him.
Yeah, that makes sense because this is, I'm telling you, 20 years of being a Patriots fan hardcore, this is a Patriots move. They don't move up for anyone, but this is somebody, because they understand that them moving up is not moving up to 3 or 4. They might only have to move up to like 8 to make this happen, which is only a few spots for them. So it won't even cost them like three number 1s or something, because 1, 2, and 3 are set. And then once you get into like Cincinnati picking, Cincinnati's not taking a quarterback. So, you know.
I mean, unless San Francisco put a fly in the ointment and they decided to go Fields.
Well, you know what? I think the Patriots will be happy with either way because if San Francisco goes with Fields, then I can guarantee you Mac Jones will be available for when the Patriots draft because it's only San Francisco and the Patriots that are looking at Mac Jones like that anyway. They're competing against each other. So if they're both looking at both quarterbacks, this is going to be Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf type of thing. Whoever drafts the other one, then the other team's going to get the other one.
I mean, true, unless then the wild card would be what Carolina Panthers do.
Well, we know they're not going to draft a quarterback considering they still have to pay Teddy Bridgewater the $18 million. They just picked up the 5th-year option on Darnold, which is $18 million, which means they're going to sign him after this year because you don't give up 3 draft picks and then pick up the 5th-year option to let him walk. It's stupid.
Right, and then pick up another quarterback. Right.
So they're going to look.
A number of things happen though.
Yeah, me too, but I don't see them. They're not the Jets. They're not going to do that. You know, so you're looking, and then you got Pitts. So Pitts is going to be the first non-quarterback taken.
Yeah, Pitts is going to help reset the draft. Whoever finally gets him off the board, he's going to help reset the draft.
Yeah, because then now Jamar Chase becomes the first weapon available that's going to come off the board, but it's like, who needs him at that point? And you're also looking at Sewell, or however you say his name.
Penny Sewell, yeah.
Sewell. Then there's another tackle that they're talking about taking ahead of Sewell, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I thought this guy was
Which
like
one?
one
out, I mean, because I know he's one out of Alabama, but he's been hurt, but he was doing cartwheels and all that. But he looks strong. He's more of a guard. I think Notre Dame had somebody.
Yeah, there was somebody. You know, names get thrown around.
Out there. There's a few guys out there. I mean, Penny is at the top.
It's just funny because if you're looking at the top end of this draft, it's just like, all right, we all know like the first 10 players off the board who is probably going to be. But then you look at after 10, the wide receivers that are going to be available after the first run of players are all fucking ridiculous. Like, they're good. You're going to get some receivers that are going to end up in situations where they don't have to be the number 1 because you're drafting 10 through like 16 to 18 and not in the top. So you're looking at maybe like another Calvin Ridley situation where he gets to slide in and then he's got somebody over there, then he can just dominate from day 1.
I'm telling you, the receiver out of Minnesota, I've been talking about Bateman. Receiver out of Mississippi, Elijah. I'm forgetting his last name right now.
Yeah.
And there's another receiver. Oh, and the Terrence Marshall Jr.
Yes.
There it is. Another receiver out of LSU. Those guys are going to be there.
And then you're also looking at
guys are going to make an impact on their teams.
Well, you're also looking at what Devontae Smith. Where's this guy going to end up? Because Waddle's going to go before him, and so is Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So you're looking at somebody that's that ridiculously. That's somebody that's Calvin Ridley on steroids, dropping down to who knows.
Even a couple people had him going to the Giants, like dropping down to 11. I don't even want to think about that. But I mean, I would say though, if you have a weapon like that at that number, you get him, you grab him. The way this game is played, it's too much speed, but you not to get him.
Yeah, Kerry, I agree. The NFL scoring wise is becoming like the NBA.
Yeah,
you're not going to shut other teams out. It's about advantageous turnovers and maybe a couple stops and just outscoring them because the game is built to score. So
you just get enough defenders who can make enough plays, but you have weapons. You never get short on weapons. We saw that. And then if you just so happen to have, because normally for a younger quarterback especially, you want to build the defense out, have a strong running game, protect them. That's what Ben had. That's what Eli had. That's what Philly Rivers had. We can go on down the list. And these were successful quarterbacks. Nowadays, you sling that thing around the yard, your offense is strong. Outside of Aaron Donald, when the Rams went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they had really strong players, but Aaron Donald was their stud. But their offense is what got them there. Todd Gurley was having an amazing year until he got hurt. But then they got what's the name off the streets who had won a chip with Denver, and he was getting busy. So, yeah, they had enough, but then Cooper Kupp had gotten hurt, so they were missing a couple pieces, but they could have won that Super Bowl if they had their if all their offensive pieces were clicking and healthy. Rams could have had that. So we're looking at the age of offense, and speed kills. Even the Giants took a flyer out on John Ross III. Now, I don't even know if this kid has played double-digit games in a season. I would say no.
He has it.
He has to play double-digit games in the season. And he was drafted when? So far, his claim to fame is that he played in Snoop Dogg's football camp back in the day. And I know he went to Washington, but it was that he played in Snoop Dogg's.
Yeah, so did Napoleon. So did Napoleon Kaufman. That don't mean shit to me. They were both undersized players
Napoleon Kaufman was the man. Though.
Yeah, I know.
Napoleon Kaufman was the man. Crazy college career.
John Ross though doesn't have short area quickness. So if you're that small and all you can do is run fast, and you're not, even Deshaun Jackson is constantly hurt.
Yes.
So it's just like if you're basically a track athlete that's tiny, you just can burn. Any collision seems to take this toll on them. So John Ross, he's too slight to play football. He's just really fucking fast.
Yeah. He should have joined a relay team, honestly. And I ran track too, so I never want to slight track dudes, but at the same time, he just. I'm also way bigger than John Ross.
Well, so look at somebody that we just talked about to start off the show. Look at Julian Edelman. They're about the same size. And look at their style of play versus just the way that their brain works and the way that the kinetics of their system works. Julian Edelman, being an option quarterback, knew about shiftiness in space and things of this nature.
It's look at the difference between Russell Wilson and RG3. Russell Wilson knows how to slide. He knows how to avoid those big hits. Even being behind a line that has sucked for many a year, and he's had his hurts, but he hasn't gone out for a significant amount of time. He hasn't had a significant injury.
He's not going to either. All that baseball background.
He just figures out how to make it happen.
And
RG3 would just be out there, and then I saw his head folded up over his head.
Yeah, but Russ is also Russ is extremely smart, so Russ would have played so well on that Rams Greatest Show on Turf offense because I've never seen an entire offensive skill group that knew how not to get hit. Because they were all tiny, but no one ever hit them, ever.
him and Marshall Faulk in the backfield together.
Mhm,
That's sickening. Are you kidding me?
Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruth, who both are going to end up in the Hall of Fame. One of my top tens,
Honorable mention.
Azakeem, baby. I fucking love that dude.
Honorable mention.
And then they had old reliable. They had the old white possession receiver who came up huge in the playoff run, Ricky Prohl.
Ricky Prohl.
Huge. NFC title game, game-winning touchdown.
Against the Bucks.
And a very, very difficult catch in the corner.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, but yeah, that entire offense knew how not to get hit. I loved watching them.
Yeah.
So,
No, they were definitely something special.
and then you look at like Cam and the way he played.
Well, see, Cam is bully ball. So he was LeBron on the football field. I mean, he's just bullying you until he had enough hits. But some of those hits, again, he was more of his persona, Superman, thinking he could take it on everything, and then he got smacked upside the head by the Atlanta linebacker, 45, Dion. I forget his last name right now, but and knocked him out. And Cam still scored, but then he was like, "Oh, I need to stop playing. Like this is not a game. Like you got through that when you were younger. You were faster. You were stronger. You recovered more quickly. But now you get what you can get. You get down."
Well, Kerry, you remember the worst hit that I've ever seen Cam take were when he was trying to awkwardly slide to avoid the hit because he never knew how to slide. So later in his career, when he would try to slide, his knees would always get caught in the dirt, and somebody would just absolutely clean him.
Yep.
I mean, if Cam, his entire career, would have known when to take his shots. It's okay to run out of bounds. It's okay to get the first down and just get down. And then this guy, when you see it, I'm going to run this motherfucker over.
These kids need to learn. They need to know more Kenny Rogers. Know when to fold them, babies. Know when to fold them.
They just need to understand that the greatest ability in football is availability. And that's it, because you see it in every single playoff run, every single Super Bowl team. It's all about who's healthy. Who's the healthiest at the end of the year with their whole team that's had a couple weeks together at full health. And it's just the way it is.
Quarterback won't try to look. Your quarterback, who was once Superman, is now looking like the greatest American hero because he has no offensive line and he has to dive through the air to throw the ball. So, he can make the greatest quarterback look ridiculous if you're just not healthy in the playoffs. Remember that year? Carson Palmer took the Cardinals to the playoffs, and then he got hurt, and then I think Derek Anderson was backing him up. He got hurt, so there was the third string quarterback. They had no shot. They got destroyed. And it was a good team. But quarterback play, like Carson's the one who got him there, and they couldn't hold up without him.
So the other big thing there's a new trend in the NFL, and I think this is going to become more permanent. Teams are opting out of OTAs.
Oh, that's definitely going to become more permanent.
Yeah, because you can just do all these Zoom meetings and everything. You don't have to come to the facility to do all that shit. So, Roger Harper, how much did you hate OTAs?
Took up your summer, took up your off season, So it was something that you had to do. Especially if you had bonuses or something like that, it was something that you just had to do, And coaches took that as if you didn't show, it shows probably that you didn't care of your future or team and that kind of stuff. So OTAs is more mandatory when I played. Now it's an option now,
It's an option, but it's still mandatory. Like, who's actually not going to show up unless you're in a contract dispute or you're a veteran who has earned the right to be like, nah, I'm not going to that shit.
Exactly.
And also, were there ways? I know fining you wasn't supposed to happen. Were there ways though that the team would kind of discipline you, so to speak, if you didn't?
Yeah. For example, Ironhead. He was kind of overweight kind of guy. Had to monitor his weight. So Lincoln Kennedy. I remember just thinking of the big guys. Used to always had to come in during the off season, and they'd tax them if they wasn't a certain weight or they didn't come to OTAs. You know, example, Lincoln Kennedy got married, and he disappeared for about a month. Man, he came back. He was huge.
And he was already huge.
Yeah, he was already huge, but he got a little too huge, and you know, I remember them. He was complaining about they were trying to take money from him and stuff. Because he was him, like I said, him and Ironhead was one of those guys that they always tried to monitor during the off season.
Now they wasn't taxing them by the pound, was they?
Oh yeah, they hit you by the pound, buddy.
Oh shit!
Oh,
A lot of teams go by the pound.
Yo, that's hilarious because my sophomore year in college, it was the exact opposite. They actually made me sit out of practice because I had dropped so much weight that I had dropped under 160 pounds, and they were like, there is no way we're putting you back on this field if you're under 160 fucking pounds.
Responsible.
Yeah. So it took 2 days. It took 2 days to put all that weight and get back up there because, you know, it's West Virginia in August, man. It's fucking humid and hot. There's 5 a days in college back in the late 90s. Fuck a 3 a day. It's all, you guys know, it's all day long. So you're dropping, you know, it's like you're getting ready for a title fight that first 2 weeks at camp. I don't care who you are, you're dropping weight.
Which is funny because Devontae Smith, they have him listed at $165, $170. So if they have him listed at $165, $170,
he's under 160.
Wow.
I'm going to say he's under 160 then because the most I ever tapped out at was 168, and they would list you at like 175. And they had that 5'7" was always 5'9".
Yeah.
You know, so you know how it is.
That's what I'm saying. So I think more so than anything, it's that people when they get the measurables on Devontae Smith, some teams are shying away. And so now I think they're starting to look at other receiving options, and that's when he starts.
Whoever gets him is going to be fortunate because all you have to do is look at his playing history because he plays in the SEC. So he's playing against top-tier talent every single fucking week, including practice. All year long, does he have an injury history or does he have the ability to not take big hits and avoid collisions?
But you know that there's those old school GMs.
Oh, of course.
Like Gettleman, who you have to reach you have to be a certain height, certain weight. Like they're not looking at your tape in the same way unless you have these particular measurables. It's like they don't see you really. Even though you're doing all the same things, you don't have a major injury history. Just because you're a little bit slighter, a little bit shorter, they're just not looking at you the same way.
Yeah, but how many wide receivers have we seen drafted high, first round, early second round, because they're big and fast, that cannot play football at all? So many of them.
Many a time.
So, there's more of those than there are successful wide receivers. There's so many of them. They're just like, well, look at his measurables. His ceiling, his potential, his ceiling's really high. And it's just like, then you got some guy that comes out in the second or third round that just balls out. Wasn't Rod Smith undrafted?
Yep.
Yeah.
See, and he had a Hall of Fame career.
Southwest Missouri State.
Yeah.
We went to.
Now imagine if Bill Walsh wouldn't have seen Jerry Rice play college football by chance that they were just down there getting ready for a game and he just happened to flip on the TV and see some kid destroying everybody and was like, who the fuck is this guy? Imagine if he never would have saw him. Jerry Rice probably had ended up drafted, maybe undrafted.
He would have been catching bricks from his father still.
And you got to remember Jerry struggled his rookie year. So imagine he's a 6th or 7th rounder undrafted and struggles his rookie year. He's out the league. Mm-hmm. So interesting, really interesting. That one especially
since they didn't toss it all around the yard that way back then. Even though the West Coast offense that started to.
Well, I mean that's what Bill Walsh saw that and was just like, yeah, I want to do that. I want that guy. I want to do that. Let's do that. Just get him the ball really quick and let him run. How fast is he? Faster than everyone else on the field. That Jerry Rice would tell you. Faster than whoever's chasing me. It doesn't matter. I don't care. The number doesn't matter.
Stamina.
Yeah.
Like you could have blazing speed, but if you have no stamina, if your burst only lasts for 1 quarter, but mine sustains for all 4, and I can go into overtime, you lose, buddy.
Yep.
I don't care how fast you are. You lose.
Especially those playoff games. Now you see why Jerry Rice is so successful in the playoffs, because the adrenaline of playoff games zaps your energy really quick. You're so hyped in the beginning.
And look at how many major fourth quarter catches he had.
Yeah.
Just it changed the game, and it's like, oh, they're coming up clutch. His physical prowess, his stamina, his fitness was just well above and beyond everybody else's. So he could make plays, and so he's more tuned in mentally than you are, because you think about how tired you are, and he's just thinking about making the play.
Well, the only other player that I can remember it was Walter Payton. That had that type of just unlimited motor. And Walter was undersized for a running back too, and he ran so physical. So physical.
Determination. Look at Wayne Corbett, even though he had a million concussions, but at the same time, that dude was a baller. Like he stuck his head in there, and he opened the door for a lot of these. He opened the door for these modern day slot receivers.
He opened the door for Edwin, which we talked about at the beginning of our first segment. The second blunt is lit, which means I'm about to close this one and open up the second segment. I will see you guys in 45 seconds. All right, so let me continue on, because it's time for the second blunt. I wonder if Nice is going to pop up. That's always fun. All right. Invite is sent. So we'll see these guys in about 30 seconds of me smoking weed. Xavier, what up, homie? Today's the 28th anniversary of Juvenile Hell. Oh shit, I should have played Juvenile Hell for Mobb Deep Monday last night at midnight. That would have made sense. Yo, I've been absolutely smacked this past week. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
We're gonna get Nice today.
I was just saying before you popped in, I was just like, I wonder. It's fun when Nice pops in.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he pops. It's usually later.
Yeah. Just want to see if he's feeling this direction his so-called squad is taking. They seem to be pretty locked in on Zach though.
Yeah.
Which interesting.
All right, so let's get this out the way. It's not, it's starting to get a little bit interesting breaking down this offseason for these a team each week. I feel like we've done like 6 weeks of this, so we've gotten through the worst of the worst. So now there's kind of a narrative a little bit with each team. So now this week is Carolina. And clearly the narrative is they just traded 3 fucking draft picks for Sam Darnold and picked up his 5th-year option, which means they are committed for the next couple years to Sammy Ballgame. So,
yeah.
Nah, it's not Teddy Ballgame anymore. He's gone. Sam Darnold took his gerb. He's going to take his name.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. But you know what? I hope Teddy finds a spot where he can. I know he wants to play, and I hope he does get that opportunity again. But Teddy, I'll tell you like I tell everybody else: the best job in America is backup quarterback.
You know where it'd be a good spot for him? Go back to Minnesota.
Go back to Minnesota.
Go back to Minnesota. You already have a history there, and Kirk Cousins has a history of needed to being pulled in the third quarters for the closer to come in.
Imagine Teddy Ball game becomes our new Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like Teddy Ball game. Hey, let's bring in Teddy Ball game. He knows what to do.
Yo, what if that now becomes a thing in the NFL with all these young quarterbacks?
Yeah, we need the closer. We need the closer to come in. No fear. Let's throw it up. This guy's our franchise, but this guy's going to finish the game for us.
I mean, Arizona could definitely use a closer because Kyler struggled early many weeks, so
he did. But now that he has John Connor, the future Terminator, and he also has AJ Green.
What's
what's going to happen to Larry Fitz?
We don't know. They'll probably just allow him to they should just give him a lifetime contract. You stay here as long as you want to. So what if the Cardinals move and get Pitts?
Wow.
Because remember, Arnold, who we like, Arnold is gone.
Yeah.
So they clearly are looking tight end now because if they allowed him to leave.
But where are the Cardinals picking now?
I think they're right by. I think they're in the top 10 somewhere.
Are they?
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have to pull it up. Oh my God damn it!
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know with all the trades and whatnot.
I think they're in the top 10. I think they're there. Because I don't think they'll be anywhere in the arena to get Pitts. I just don't think they have enough draft capital. And then who could they give up in a trade?
Oh yeah, they're not picking till the 16th.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson already left. You're not going to give up Buda Baker. There's no way for them to make movements. There's no way they can.
Yeah, that's not happening. So yeah, that fantasy's over with. I'm just looking at who we got coming up soon. So next week is Denver. Whatever. And then it starts to get real interesting. Because it's the Cowboys.
Well, also, though, I don't want to sleep on Denver just yet, though.
No, but I'm just saying, then it gets fun after Denver because it's...
Sure. We start dipping in the NFC East.
Yeah, it's Dallas, Giants, Philly, back to back to back.
Exactly.
And then everybody's favorite B squad right now, the Chargers.
Yep.
And then Minnesota, then New England, which, how rare is it that we're even talking about them this early in the draft?
If they don't move up, right?
They're going to move up.
Right.
And then, then we start getting into should have been playoff teams. And then you get into the playoff run. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, if the next couple of weeks we get the NFC East pretty much back to back to back.
As it should be. Right.
And then the Chargers, which is going to be fun because that's the new. This is, at least for me personally, that's who I watch on Sundays.
Well, I'm going to say this. Denver, we all know that they need a quarterback, or at least someone in that quarterback room to step the hell up. If I'm a quarterback who's looking for a job, I would most definitely be hitting John Elway up and say, listen, baby, I just need a tryout. You just need to get me over there and keep all those other quarterbacks with the Rona away from me so I can my tryout.
All right, so let's look at it since we got this up before we even break down Carolina. We know Jacksonville's going with Lawrence. That's a given. The Jets are going with the kid from BYU.
Yes.
Zach Wilson. San Francisco's going with a quarterback. We know this.
A quarterback, yes.
Atlanta will be the first one to maybe not go for a quarterback.
Either Trey Lance or Kyle Pitts.
But they're also trying to trade out of number 4 actively.
If they trade out of it, then they could still get a playmaker. 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 Don't know if they'll still go quarterback.
So does New England trade with Atlanta? Does New England move up that far? It's going to take 3 number ones to move up that far.
Right. I was going to say, well, what are their assets looking like?
They've got. Come on, it's New England. They've got draft capital for the next few years. It's going to be. It'll probably be like a number 2 this year, and then 3 number ones in the future, or something like that.
Because they trade back famously all the time. Okay. So if Atlanta agrees to trade with New England, then what that says to me is that Atlanta is looking at 3 years from now before they start being competitive again. So which tells me they're just going to play out the string with Matty Ice Cream, play out the string with Julio unless they try to find a trade partner, because then how do you keep Julio on that team? You still retain Ridley, obviously. And you try to keep some of those playmakers on the defense.
That's such a huge draft domino, whatever Atlanta does, because if Atlanta can't find a trade partner, then they're going to end up probably taking the tackle, right? Which would just make sense. Just build on the future. You got this tackle.
Penny Sewell?
Yeah, they're going to take Penny, right? So why wouldn't you? Or
you know what? I don't know if they would do that. I think they would more so go trade Lance because of the owner. This owner is not settling for mediocrity anymore. He wants to win. He sees the days of Matt Ryan being done. He sees what Patrick Mahomes has done and other mobile quarterbacks has done. He had Michael Vick at one point in time. I would see him going before he was going anywhere to try to protect a Matt Ryan.
Well, you just look at behind Atlanta. So we got Cincinnati. They got Joey Backstreet Boys. Miami's got Tua. Detroit just picked up Goff's contract. They might go quarterback, but they're not going to trade up to get a quarterback. This is unnecessary.
Whoever would fall to them.
Carolina is at 8, and they just did this whole Sam Darnold thing, and they're not going to draft a quarterback right now.
But also Detroit has no receivers right now.
Exactly. Then you have Denver. So Denver is the only other possibility that could move up to that number 4 spot.
Saying they are desperate for a quarterback.
Because after them, Dallas, Dak. Giants, yeah, you're Danny Dum Dum. Philly, Jalen Hurts. L.A., the Golden Boy. You know. Then you got Minnesota, who they might be looking for the quarterback of the future, but they're not gonna. I don't see them moving up to go get one of these guys.
The quarterback of the future at where they're picking?
No, I'm saying these are the only ones that might move. I'm trying to look at teams that could possibly move up with Atlanta, because after them is New England, and New England can and will. And then after that, dude, you're getting so far down. Do these teams at 16, 17, 18, 19 even have enough capital to move up that far? They don't. New England does.
Minnesota, even with all the deals Minnesota did, I don't think they have enough.
So you're looking at trade partners being Denver, New England with Atlanta, realistically.
I feel like Minnesota, especially with all the moves that they, like all the free agent moves that they've done, and then not securing another quarterback, they're going to ride out with Captain Kurt, and they're just going to try to figure it out from there until maybe they can get another free agency quarterback in there, maybe a Russ or someone else, just like, or maybe someone else shakes loose. But
well, that's what I'm saying. So you're
for the foreseeable.
Atlanta might actually get stuck with that spot. Because after Atlanta, whatever they do, tight end, tackle, one of the two, maybe they go Trey Lance. Cincinnati's not going quarterback. Miami, Detroit, Carolina, the next like 4 aren't going, and they're not going to. I don't see them trading out, because now you have the rest of this talent available. So what I keep thinking about is the second round of this NFL draft is about to be insane. There are going to be so many starters coming out of this second round.
That'd be nuts.
Because the second round is going to be running backs, linebackers, safeties, all the guards.
receivers that we're talking about, those receivers on day 2.
Those day 2 receivers.
Their friends.
Like, there is going to be so much talent in round 2 this year. Round 1 is you're trying to get cornerstones to set up your franchise, especially in the top 10 in some way. Round 2 is where you get Super Bowl titles at.
Yep.
Especially this year. This year, round 2 is going to be nuts.
Yeah. But look at it. Just seeing how Arthur Blank has moved, right? It'll be so hard. If Trey Lance is right there, I think it'll be so hard for him not to make the call to say, I want Trey Lance. I'm just saying, I think they choose a quarterback over a tackle. If they go, so I can either see them going Kyle Pitts or quarterback. I think tackle would be the third thing that they did.
I think Pitts is such a unique talent that teams are not going to be able to pass on him, and the hype around him has already been built up so much.
Then if you're saying that for Atlanta, if he goes at that spot to Atlanta, then Matt Ice Cream will play out the remainder of his contract, so you have him another 2-3 years, yeah, until he's 39. And so they'll just try to like find someone else, another quarterback, or maybe a free agent, like backup, whatever. And then maybe look for the quarterback of the future later.
I mean, if that's what happens, then I can tell you the next couple picks are easy. Cincinnati goes with the tackle with Petty, easy. Miami goes with Jamar Chase, easy.
Sure.
It has to. And then you get Detroit and Carolina. Who knows what they're going to do.
So then that puts Detroit in an interesting situation, because if we're saying that Justin Fields is still out there, Detroit hits the reset button.
So what if
they got Goff to be the bridge?
I think Denver would trade up with Detroit
to then go after Fields.
After Fields, and I don't know why they would do that, just so maybe Detroit wouldn't pick Fields.
But would Detroit even trade with them? Would they trade out of that spot? Because Detroit, they're not sold on Goff. And we're talking about Detroit, you get Justin Fields in Detroit. Let's look at all the things I'm talking about here. Justin Fields in Detroit, Justin Fields in Denver. I know Denver would want him, but Detroit, we talking Justin Fields in Detroit. And if we're talking about changing the culture,
I mean, they just did. They got Motor City Dan Campbell.
I know he wants to bite all the kneecaps. Talk about someone who also could think with a level head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And who now you just lost a tough guy quarterback in Matt Stafford. Jared Goff, he has proved some toughness, sure, but we saw how tough Justin Fields is, right? So he would be a quarterback who could stand up in Detroit and Detroit get behind him.
So at Carolina at 8, if they don't, since they just did the Darnold move, they got to get him some help. Now I know Robbie Anderson is hyped that he's teaming back up with Darnold. He's already talked about it.
But they lost Curtis Samuel.
They did lose, so they have to get somebody. So you're looking at
in the mix to take some of that steam off of CMC.
Yeah, you're looking at him coming back. So you're looking at probably one of the Alabama receivers.
Okay.
That would make sense. And then
or a Terrence Marshall Jr. What if he jumps into the mix? What if he impressed them enough? Because you have speed with Robbie Anderson. I get it. You can never have enough speed. And you have your other receiver who's the number one. What if I don't know. What if they go with like a Terrence Marshall big receiver? Because who's their tight end? They picked up somebody.
Yeah.
But
oh no, we'll get to since it's Carolina week. I have the roster right here pulled up. Might as well talk about these assholes.
Tight end Dan Arnold. Unrestricted.
Right, that's where Dan Arnold went. Right. Dan Arnold doesn't blow the roof off your top. He is serviceable. He will block. He will catch. He could be a good weapon for a young quarterback. But We're talking about bringing then another weapon in, big, strong. Like you have speed and Robbie Anderson. I don't know. I think Terrence Marshall Jr. is someone who would fit the culture of what they're trying to do in Carolina. I think he would be a culture pick, and I think it would work out really well.
Damn, they got 5 quarterbacks on the roster right now.
Oh shit! Who else?
They got Sam, Teddy,
Yeah.
P.J. Walker,
Oh yeah, the guy who came in. Yeah.
some guy named Tommy Stevens from Mississippi State who was a rookie, and then everybody's favorite backup quarterback, Will Greer.
Backup. Yeah. West Virginia.
You're goddamn right. I like that guy, though, because he is not afraid to throw it to a receiver. Here, you go get this shit.
I thought they let him go, but he's still there. Good for you, Will Greer.
Yeah. So
One of the most fun college games I've been to. West Virginia versus UT at UT. Loved it.
so the running back room, it's all about CMC, his health.
Absolutely. Because Mike Davis is now gone. Who have they signed to back up CMC now?
Nobody.
Well, I would say if I was a running back, I would look at Carolina immediately because the way they utilize CMC, he's gonna get hurt again unless they have a complete change in philosophy.
So you're looking
Hurt again, and so I'm gonna get plenty of carries there. So I would be looking at. So I would think they would also be looking at.
I was going to say Carolina's probably in the later rounds is going to be looking at a running back.
Yeah.
They signed running back Darius Clark. I don't know who that is.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody. I said nobody. So the wide receiver room, they're going to be looking for help too because Curtis Samuels is gone. They do have DJ Moore, who is serviceable.
Yep.
And then
Curtis Samuels was like that gadget. You know what I'm saying? He could line up in the back. He could do a lot. He was a playmaker who took pressure off of CMC. So you need something comparable to that.
Then you got Robbie Anderson, who oddly enough, at only 5 years in the league, is the longest tenured wide receiver on their roster. This is such a young team. They're so young.
But and especially early on in the senior season, Robbie Anderson was having a good season.
Yeah.
I predict him to have an even better season now that he's
back with his boy.
A stronger arm. Yeah. Sam Arnold has a strong arm.
Yeah, he does. Dan Arnold at tight end, which, not a wow tight end, but serviceable. We liked him as a fantasy tight end because he was cheap at the end of the year. I know that much.
He's done.
Michael Simon. This is Michael Simon. I don't know who that is. I don't.
Yeah.
David Moore, wide receivers that they signed.
Mm.
And
David Moore from Seattle.
Yeah, who would catch sneaky touchdowns. He could probably catch on, but as a 4th, 5th receiver.
They already have one. They already have one of him. It's DJ Moore. They got
But DJ Moore is their number 1.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying they already got that kind of guy. So
yeah.
Let's see their offense.
DJ Moore is more of a playmaker than David Moore. Let's just be honest. But you don't want
their offensive line. I only know Cameron Irving's name because he used to play for the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And then other than that, I don't see it.
Didn't they pick up Zeitler from the Giants, right? Did Zeitler sign with them?
No.
Or no, Zeitler went to...
He went somewhere else.
Yeah, they need help because Teddy was getting destroyed by every quarterback who stepped back there.
Man, this team is so young, man. The longest tenured player on their entire offense is 7. It's Teddy Bridgewater.
Wow.
They are so young.
Yeah, they need help on the line.
All right, so we turn around and look at their defense.
Yeah, they have that's where their studs live. You got Chin at safety. You have the defensive tackle out of Auburn, I want to say, Derek Brown. He's a monster. He's a stud. He is a stud.
Son Frank Heron.
Son, that Heron.
Jay Johnson, they signed.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Perryman.
I always liked Denzel Perryman out of Miami, out of the U.
So he
was injured at the Chargers, but when he was on the field, he made plays.
Yeah, so look at the back end of their linebacking core. They now have Denzel Perryman, and they signed Hassan Riddick too to pair up with Shaq Thompson. So that's 3 very comparable, but that still doesn't replace Luke Kuechly, because that dude.
No Luke Kuechly. Do you love me?
No Luke Kuechly.
No more Luke Kuechly.
That motherfucker was a stud.
Yes, he was.
So Eli Apple ends up down trying to resurrect his career down in Carolina.
That apple poison. I'm sorry.
But they did sign AJ Bouye.
That's a big pickup.
That's a big pickup. And then
JT Ibby, the safety. IBE.
Like you said, Jeremy Chin.
He's a stud. Stud in the making.
They got Kenny Robinson from West Virginia. I only know your name because you went to West Virginia, homie. So,
a country western singer. Kenny Robinson.
So there's a lot of holes to fill. So clearly, running back is going to be something they're going to pick up, and then wide receiver is going to be something they're going to focus on first.
You need that.
It's going to be wide receiver, and then probably offensive line help, and then you're going to look at they might even wait for a running back because they might go defensive line help, and then they definitely have to get some running back help.
Well, and here's what we tend to do, because we love Ferrari. Nobody wants to get the 4-door when we have a Ferrari staring right at us, right? But if you're telling me that Penei Sewell is still there and your line sucks and you just picked up Sam Darnold, who is shell-shocked from being behind a terrible line his whole career, and we're actually going to coach Sam Darnold up to be a serviceable quarterback in this league, then you got to protect him. So it would go against what many probably people in Carolina want, because they would want, if you have one of those stud receivers out there, you want to grab them, blah, blah, blah. But going O-line would be the best. Like, if you have a young quarterback, we have to understand, you got to protect your asset. Quarterback is your franchise, period. This is not difficult. This is not rocket science. Please protect your quarterback, especially if you're invested this many picks in him, 3 number ones. Get a tackle that you can trust in front of him, period. So if Penei Sewell is there and Cincinnati didn't get him, you better snatch him up with the quickness.
Well, they let Kawan Short go, so they're going to look at a defensive tackle at some point in the draft, I imagine.
They get him later.
Yeah.
That later.
All right, so let's see. Let's look at some of the numbers that they put up. It was Teddy B was their quarterback. He's just, 15 touchdowns, 11 picks. That's what you're getting with him. He's just not going to do anything big.
But behind no line.
I know, but he's never won football games. It's not like been put on his shoulders to make this happen.
No, he was on the precipice of winning a playoff game in Minnesota, but the kicker blew it. Would have had a playoff win.
Oh, well, woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Well, I'm just saying, let's not put that on Teddy Ball game.
I mean, that's only one. Come on, man. He just traditionally he's not.
Then he got his knee ripped to shreds.
Well,
this man.
I mean, he's not. He's not like. It's not like he's called Playoff Teddy.
All right, and yes, I know, and we're not calling him Teddy P. We're calling him Teddy B. We don't need him to turn off the lights and light a candle, but I'm just saying, he can get some things done.
I need you to give me more than it's less than 1 touchdown a game he threw.
Okay, and check that out. There's a lot of quarterbacks who have started for years, more than Teddy, who if you would have stacked them up, and they have spots, they have jobs where he would stack up nicely right alongside of them.
Well, of course. I'm just saying that they're trying to, clearly by doing the Sam Darnold thing, they're trying to move forward than just 15 touchdowns, 11 picks type of football.
They're looking for a game changer.
Yes, right. they need it.
And a game manager, which Teddy will be a great game manager someplace that's already established. Carolina's a young team. They're looking for more.
Minnesota, I'm telling you, go back to Minnesota.
Like you went to Minnesota, you have that monster running game, and you have those monster receivers. Teddy will know how to get the rock to those receivers. He absolutely will. And then give me a defense that I can get. All
right, so Mike Davis, their running game was trash last year. I think this is the worst running game in football, if I remember. Mike Davis led with 640 yards for the year. That's terrible.
They had to start putting Curtis Samuel back there.
Yeah, he had a 200 yards at the end of the year. Not bad. Clearly it all depends on what happens with Christian McCaffrey. Can he stay healthy? And that was always the question about how they were utilizing him. How long is he going to be able to physically handle this workload?
Because when he was healthy, let's not forget, they almost beat Kansas City. I mean, they should have actually beaten Kansas City.
When he is healthy, he is an absolute game changer. But 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing does take its toll.
He needed a very long spring break after that season. Yeah. He could have took a gap year after that season.
He should have probably, because he was their offense for that season.
He went all pro at both receiver and running back. You deserve a gap year.
Yeah, like that. And look, because he didn't have a gap year and enough time to physically recover, he played three fucking games last year. Mm-hmm. So then it's a whole bunch of bums after that. See, they were just trying to find anybody after that. Jeremy Chin had a couple rushes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you show me a guy on defense who scores 2 touchdowns within a minute or 30 seconds and he created the turnovers, yeah, I'm going to put him on offense.
So let me talk about that for a second. How rare was that?
It was the most rare because it never happened.
How many times do you hear something that's never happened before in football? Like, they couldn't find it in college. I can't ever think of that happening on back-to-back plays, strip fumble returns for touchdowns.
That happened this past season?
Yeah.
Yep. Sure did.
By the same guy. Back-to-back fucking plays. Incredible. Fucking incredible.
So he scored 2 touchdowns within like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Safety. 2 touchdowns.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. He's a star. He's a star. He has a nose for the ball. He knows what to do. You can identify those guys early on. You know what I'm talking about, Rod. Like there are guys who are tacklers, and then there are guys who they want to score. They have a scoring mentality. They have an offensive mentality on defense all the time.
I always played like that. The ball's in their hands, score. I don't care what 110 yards. I don't fucking care. You can score.
Yeah, but Joe, there's guys who will line you up for the shot. You know what I'm saying? And they have an easy pick. If they just open their eyes to the ball, that's easy 6. But they rather line you up for the shot, instead.
I mean, you know what though, Kerry? There's some people it's not even their preference. That's just how the game, their DNA is for them to play the game is just to fucking destroy humans.
That's also how they live life. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
I lived it like, all right, ball in end zone. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that's going to get you off this farm and out of these mountains of West Virginia is to get in the end zone as many fucking times as possible.
Sure.
That's how I practice, man. Interceptions, strip balls,
all of it.
College. Take it all the way to the house. They used to tell me to come on, get back, hurry up and get back,
Yeah.
You practice at a high level and play at a high level, it happens in the game.
Of course.
Even though I felt a way about Jerry Rice because I'm a Giants fan. And, coming up, I saw the Giants and San Francisco go at it all the time. Hearing about his work ethic and seeing the way he got down, and even hearing in practice that whenever he caught a ball, he always scored a touchdown with it. Is there any reason why we don't think he is the all-time leader in touchdowns? In practice, It didn't. If it was a 5-yard slant, it didn't matter. He always ran it the whole way. It doesn't matter if it was on the other 10. He would run it 90 yards. He would score a touchdown every single time he caught the ball in practice. And so thinking about it like that, yeah, I was like, well, I wasn't feeling him at that time, but I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I might do that. I might start doing that. And it just changed the way you think about it. Like you go hard every single time. And then when you realize your opponent just doesn't have the fuel and juice like you do, they're demoralized. It doesn't matter how many more stars they have than you. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like these things don't matter how ballyhooed they are over you. If you know you got them, you got them.
Well, I will say my favorite numbers from my entire playing career are longest touchdowns per program, which is hilarious because longest offensive play for a touchdown, 98 yards. And I knew I was going to score. I was pissed that we ran a running play from the 1 because I wanted to go 99 yards because I knew, because we were still in the first 10 plays, so I knew the scripted play was coming up. I was like, I'm about to score. I'm going to score. 98 yards, but longest touchdown in program history, 108-yard interception return. And I knew they were going to throw it to the dude because he was your height carry. And so I just stood behind. I played behind him instead of, because quarterback wasn't smart enough to throw it up. So I gave him the target. And as soon as his arm went up, gone.
And read like numbers.
Yeah, and I had to give the quarterback to Reggie Bush at the sideline, though, because he met me at the sideline.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorite moves.
Yo, so let me tell you this. I was able to pull it off, but this is how dope Reggie Bush is because I did it, and I was fortunate that one of our tackles was trailing, and by the time that I stopped and the quarterback had went flying by me, he had got in front of me because I started to fall forward. I ended up grabbing his jersey and pulling myself up. Reggie Bush did it like a ballet dancer.
That's core. His core strength was phenomenal.
Like the amount of, because at full speed for you to stop and have your body not keep going forward, the inertia in order to stop that's nearly impossible because I couldn't do it.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's he learned in the league what he could and couldn't bring from college. You gotta leave some of that shit in college, but like especially trying to jump over people. He learned some hard lessons early on. But then once he figured it out, like he had like a 2-3 year period where you looked at him and said, oh shit, this is what I was expecting out of college. And then he was he was the best team he could have been with. He was with the Saints and he was with Drew Brees.
I mean, he was looking great until Brian Dawkins took his soul.
Well, we could say that about a couple players, right?
No, but this one's different because if you look up biggest NFL's biggest hits in history, whatever. That one, Brian Dawkins, Reggie Bush on a swing pass, and Brian Dawkins literally taking his soul out of his body is on every single one of those highlight reels.
I remember that, but remember what Ray Lewis did to Eddie George.
I know, he literally took his soul.
Never ran the same again. But props to Eddie George, new head coach at Tennessee State. Props to you, good sir. Ohio State Bugeye. So and then look at what was it, Dustin Keller? It was like he was like the next big thing in Jets tight end history. Ray Lewis, he did that to a few people on the field and allegedly off. But,
he also made Jerome Bettis do a flip. Which is that's only happened twice that Jerome Bettis ever got rocked, and one of them was a practice film that the hit was so big by Kendrell Bell. Oh, I liked it. Out of Michigan State. The hit. Oh, he was so good. The hit was so violent in practice that it ended up being on Pittsburgh sports, on the news during the sports segment because he cracked his helmet. His helmet cracked.
Oh, man, and I know we talked about this before, like players we wished that we could see keep playing. Kendrell Bell was most definitely on that list for me.
Well, of course, but I mean, you're hitting people that hard, you're not going to last that long. You're just.
Which brings me to this player out of Notre Dame, Owusu. What's his last name? No, it's Owusu. It's the linebacker out of Notre Dame. Kamara. Owusu Kamara. Yeah. This guy is a thumper.
Not too many of those left.
Nah.
The game's not built for him, Roger Harper.
And
I know more.
And he's not like he's just a thumper. His timing is impeccable. And he hits the target zone every single time. So he's so athletic that even as the offensive player switches the target, he's still athletic enough to then switch with them.
Well, I think you're going to see in the future, once players start to figure out how to do that, it will evolve that way because the defensive players are still adjusting as the target zone is still adjusting. It's going to take a while, but I've seen it already, and you have to be a real football head to have noticed it, but over the last couple seasons, there are a lot of big hits that are shoulder to target. And it's just like...
And this linebacker out of Notre Dame, he has figured it out.
Well, Ed Reed always hit like that.
Well, he always hit like that, but he predates, you know what I'm saying, the targeting rule.
You know who else? Oh, my God. Fucking Weed. This Weed, yo. It's my favorite tight end to have not fulfilled his career from Washington. The one who died. Sean Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Taylor knew how to hit people properly.
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny, Roger Harper, you being a safety, people always ask me, like, who are the best safeties to ever play? It's always, of course, Polamalu, Ed Reed. Oh, my God. See, this shit has got me retarded, yo.
What you smoking, man?
It's called Black.
I know, and I'm like, what?
It's called.
What are you?
It's called Black Diamond, and it's got me stupid over here.
Oh, so you love that Black Diamond.
Woo. Dude from San Francisco that cut off his fucking finger.
Oh, Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
And then,
That's like the same, but also, I mean, you have.
if you're a football head, you have to say Sean Taylor because you knew that even in that small window that we saw of college and the professional career, we saw something that was better than everyone else.
Okay, I also like to let's not skim on Jack Tatum. I just.
All right. Hold on. We're gonna let me close this up, and we'll open this. We're gonna open this up and debate safeties. That's what we're gonna talk about in 45 seconds. This is something right up Roger Harper's alley. This is perfect. Who is this Black Diamond's got me retarded? All right. Give me 1 second. Got things happening in the background. Somebody, I should time this once to see how long it takes. There we go.
Yeah.
I saw Roger Harper getting excited. We started talking about safeties.
Did. I got him with Jack Tatum too. And I just remembered, I was like, oh shit, that's right. Jack Tatum did go to Ohio State. But I'm thinking about Jack Tatum in the pros.
Yeah, of course.
He literally paralyzed the guy, Darryl Stingley, like that. I mean, you never want to see no shit like that happen, bro. Oof.
Well, I mean, it's by no coincidence that my two favorite safeties, period wise, were corners before they were safeties.
That makes sense.
You know, Woodson and Woodson.
Woodson, sure, yeah.
And the whole Rod Woodson thing happened just because growing up right outside of Pittsburgh, you only see Pittsburgh, and he's like the only Pittsburgh player that I liked because I hated the Steelers. But he was the one that was like so good that was just like, all right.
Go to Pitt, like he was that kid. He like grew up in the area,
Yeah.
And then he went to Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at him for that, you know. So, but yeah, Charles Woodson. I mean, you're just talking about one of my all-time favorite football players for his college career and what he did in the NFL.
Met him at a Houston bar years ago during the playing days. Charles Woodson.
Yeah, he's a small safety too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what, because like we were standing side by side, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, wait, what?" I was like, "Oh man, I thought you were bigger." Like, I just, it threw me off. But I'm like, I mean, he didn't stop him from being a Hall of Famer.
I mean, now the Ascots make sense.
I know, right?
Now they make sense.
It just threw me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That totally makes sense. Well, I mean, that's somebody who, when they moved to safety, that their football IQ was so high, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's like Honey Badger. Honey Badger's not big by any means whatsoever.
No,
they jump. These are guys who jump everything.
Yeah.
They've already seen it happening, and so now they're just playing it out.
Well, that's another one. Active safeties. Honey Badger's incredible. That guy's incredible.
I told you he was the only one on the Chiefs defense I would keep. That's it. Honey Badger. That's it. We rebuild from here.
Yeah, he's incredible. So back to this this greatest safeties of all time conversation.
I would have to say Ronnie. I would have to say Jack Tatum myself. I mean, he laid the wood, and that hit between him and Earl Campbell was probably one of the hits of the. That was one of the greatest hits.
Shit. Yeah.
It was like two Rams bucking hitting, two Rams hitting, that was something else.
You talk about the definition of no fear. Jack Tatum would sprint, and what's not talked about Jack Tatum was his speed. He was fast. And he gave no fuck. And so when he hit you with his whole body and soul.
Well, Steve Atwater also would hit you with every cell of his body was trying to kill you.
Did.
Yeah,
Undersized too. Undersized for hitting that hard. It did not make sense.
And I would say from the late 70s through to the 90s, right? Like mid 90s, almost to 2000, we had a run on safeties that is unprecedented in the league.
Yeah.
Because we had Joey Browner out in Seattle. You know what I mean? You had
Kenny Easley,
Deron Cherry,
David Culture.
Right. So you could think of a team. That's why I was like, name the team. I could tell you the same. Like depending on the era, name the team. I'll tell you who the safety is, because the safeties would just Mark Carrier with his head and his neck. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys made a difference. People had to look over the middle. That's why outside receivers, they were like, well, he had alligator arms, he had no heart, because those safeties were coming for you, and those receivers who we respected the most would go over the middle, and they knew they were going to get thumped, but they still did it anyway.
During my era, the guys I wanted to be better than was Merton Hanks and Tim McDonald.
Merton Hanks.
Long neck.
That chicken dance, man.
Yeah. Those guys were great.
Oh, and Tim McDonald, ooh, he was so good.
Yeah, it was very consistent. And the teammate of mine's Darren Woodson.
Darren Woodson, of course.
He was another one I was about to mention.
very consistent, and it always came to play.
I mean,
and he was a tweener because at UCLA, linebacker, safety.
No, he played in Arizona actually.
I'm sorry, yeah, Arizona, yeah, a thumper though.
Arizona State.
I mean, everybody's favorite safety turned Marvel superhero, Brian Dawkins. Like, come on.
Brian Dawkins.
Wolverine, I know, like
that he was just different.
You know how I feel about Philadelphia.
But you had to
Wolverine also. And playing defensive back, I respected that. I was like, oh, all right, okay. I gotta say the name because he was a dynamic ass player, trash human being, but a dynamic ass player. Darren Sharper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God busy. Yeah.
Darren Sharper. Who was the one from Green Bay during the Brett Favre era? What was his name?
The jump in the stands.
Fuck.
That was Darren Sharper.
Leroy Butler.
Leroy Butler. Yeah.
Running back. That was he started, but he was a running back out of FSU.
Oh, he played running back?
No, we're talking.
No, he's safety. No,
yeah, right. Leroy Butler. Yeah, that's who we're talking. That's what I'm saying. He was dope.
The Lebo, the Lamp.
Lambeau Lee. Yeah. He was pre-safety.
Yeah, nah, he was dope.
Sharper. Did we have another one?
Oh, Rodney Harrison, man. We can't talk about safeties without talking about Rodney Harrison.
Yes, Rodney Harrison was a monster. Yes, he was. And he got him one. Junior, unfortunately, did not. You know, those Chargers, let's talk about those Chargers teams from the 90s. Stan Humphries was their quarterback. Remember that?
Dude,
Stan Humphries took them to a chip.
Natron Means, dude.
Natron Means business. Kerry Conklin was another quarterback for them.
Yeah, but
I got to show you, Josh. I stopped Natron Means in his track a couple times.
Oh, that's a big dude. That was a big dude.
Yeah.
That was a big dude, man.
That was a big. Didn't he go to Texas Tech? I think he went to Texas.
No, North Carolina.
Natron Means? Oh yes, he went to
Natron Means a target.
Yeah. I'm thinking about Bam.
Okay.
Yeah, but Bam played for Pittsburgh.
I'm trying to think who else.
You know what? I liked Brian Jordan, but then he went to go play baseball.
Yeah.
Smart on him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Because Brian Jordan also wore 40. So
That's when I came into the picture, mate. That's when they came and got me.
That's when they went to fill that slot. Yeah.
Shout out to Brian Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Deion left, and then Brian went to go play. Brian was like, "Shit, I play baseball too."
Yep.
Had to wait. He had a great base. I mean, he had a really good baseball.
Here's a good one for you, Joe. Scott Case.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Scott Case.
Scott Case. Yeah.
He should knock heads off too.
Yes, he did.
On the case. Oh, Ken Houston. Shit.
Which just made me also think of, he came a little bit later, but then we started, naming these guys. And I got to just give a special shout out to him because he was crazy as hell. Jim Leonard didn't give a shit about anything. Jim Leonard didn't give a shit.
Eric Berry, dude.
Oh yeah, cancer really cut his thing short because
he was he was special.
Special, yeah. That always saddened me because he could have actually been sneaking in a couple of years now. He could have gotten to this Mahomes era.
Yeah, dude, he was special, man.
Yeah, that was kind of rough.
Well, another one that couldn't. Well, his was a whole different reason. His was weird. Earl Thomas, man. Earl Thomas.
He could have been one of the most special.
That's another undersized safety they just used to absolutely tattoo people. Speaking of undersized safeties that used to tattoo people, Bob Sanders. Good God.
Well, we saw what happened to him.
He knocked himself out.
Right. Yeah. He Jada kissed himself. Knock yourself out.
Well, yeah. How often are you going to see somebody that's 5'8" win Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, then you just ain't going to see that again. You will not see that again.
Ever.
I'll put my stamp on that. You will not see that.
Well,
again.
because his career lasted 2 years after that. It was done because you just can't be my size hitting people that hard. It just doesn't work. The physics of it don't work, dude.
Right.
Cliff.
What about my boy Jenkins? Ohio State.
Malcolm Jenkins.
Malcolm Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah. See, because he started out as a corner, and then he went to safety, and that was a great switch for him. Yeah.
It's funny because if I'm going through this list of all-time best safeties, and it's like, if they're retired, then they're like in their gold jacket or whatever. Everyone else is in their shoulder pads and shit, and they get to Darren Sharper, and it's his courtroom picture.
Oh, hell no. That's cold.
Yeah, why they do him like that?
Listen, I told you he was a garbage human being, but on that field, though, he was college teammates with Mike Tomlin.
Carnell Lake. We forgot about Carnell Lake.
I didn't forget about 37 Carnell Lake. I was about to drop his name. He had a massive dome. I don't even think he needed to wear a helmet on the field. I'll be honest with you.
Adrian Wilson, Cardinals career, very good career at safety.
He had a neck in the Taquillo Spikes realm, thick.
Yeah.
Hanford Dixon, fellas.
Oh, Dixon, that's right.
Yeah, he's
Yes, he was.
Lawyer Malloy, yo.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk lawyer.
All right, so one of my favorite safeties, just because of his football intellect, which he has carried into a fantastic broadcast career, which we knew he was going to, because he's one of the few players that was doing broadcast gigs while he was still playing football. Ryan Clark, because he would lay the fucking wood. Ryan Clark would knock himself out. He did multiple times. Multiple times he knocked himself. That's that LSU secondary.
I promise you, I never wanted the Giants to get rid of him. I never did. But he needed to go to Pittsburgh. That's where he really found himself.
Yes.
But when I saw, I was like, this guy doesn't give a shit. He was the original Honey Badger. Honey Badger don't give a shit. He was the original one because he would throw himself in there. I was like, who is this cat? I want him on my squad. Then they cut him. Then he goes to Pittsburgh, and then he becomes a fucking Pro Bowler and then a Super Bowl champion multiple times.
He did not give a fuck about his body at all.
No, absolutely not.
Excellent analyst.
My draft class, John Lynch.
Oh,
I
fuck.
was gonna say, yeah, John Lynch. I mean, come on now.
Super Bowl champ.
And we see what he's doing right now as a GM. They have one of the best built teams in the league, bar none.
All right, so I got a list from Gil Brandt of the 20 best safeties in NFL history. So, Joey Browner, we spoke about him.
Joey Browner up. Mm-hmm.
Cliff Harris.
Okay.
Kenny Easley.
Easily.
John Lynch, that we just spoke about. Darren Woodson. Donnie Shell, which we have not mentioned yet. Darren Sharper. Good for including his career on here and not his post-career. Good for you. Brian Dawkins. Love him. Jack Tatum. Yale.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yale Larry.
Who did he play for?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Who did he play for?
He finished with the Lions.
What year?
In 1946?
The 50s and 60s.
Okay, right. The 50s, right.
He's really not allowed to take heads off.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, I know.
Nah,
they trained Lane in there because he was decapitating dudes.
No, but listen to this. They say he's the most unconventional safety in history because he picked off 50 passes in the 50s, which they didn't even throw the fucking ball back then. He averaged 16 yards per return, but he was also the NFL's leading punter.
Wow.
And it says it wasn't even close. He won the punting title 59, 61, 63, or 62 and 63. And he returned kicks and punts.
Well, then I know they for sure have the safety from Minnesota from back in the day who was the leader in interceptions. I forget his name. It's like with an R.
Well, we just learned something about Yale Larry. That guy got busy.
It wasn't Yale Larry, but it was another dude, white dude. He had like 68 interceptions.
All right, so number 10 is
He's with the Purple People Leaders.
10 is Deron Cherry.
Oh,
Ron Cherry. Did that. Man, I'm killing it with the safeties.
he played for the Chiefs, right?
Yep. Yeah, very, very good. Very
I
good.
brought him up earlier.
With Kevin Ross, one of my
Yeah, I
Kevin
brought him
Ross
up
was a
earlier
good
in this.
footballer.
Ron Cherry was a beast.
All right, number 9, Willie Wood.
Willie Wood. Steelers?
Packers.
Okay.
8-time Pro Bowler with 48 career picks. Hall of Famer.
Hall is the guy who I'm talking about, out of Minnesota. We'll get there.
All right, Emlyn Tunnel. That's all the way back to the 40s.
Okay.
79 interceptions, though.
Wow.
In the 40s. That's incredible. Wow.
But what were they calling interceptions back then?
Yeah, who knows?
Let's be honest. Were they fumbles, really?
All right, this is interesting that they've got this guy at number 7, Ed Reed. Where do we go from here?
Right.
To me, if you're saying, if I'm building a team and I get to pick a safety, I'm picking Ed Reed first above any NFL safety in history.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
He's the entire total package of brain, pickoff turned into offense instantly, and he will thump you.
Hell yeah.
I would go Ed Reed then Sean Taylor. You're right.
Yeah.
I would go. Sean would be my second one.
I just make Sean Taylor the strong safety.
Oh, okay. Yeah, could do that. Because you could also do that with Landry.
Yeah, LaRon Landry. Oh my God, his arms were so fucking big.
Incredible.
Sean Taylor could come sideline to sideline.
That's what he was so fast. Sideline to sideline. He just was wicked.
Yeah.
His instincts were off the charts too. He was always where the ball was at. He was so special.
That dude, yes, he was that.
I knew he was going to be special in the national championship game.
Absolutely.
I knew it just the first game I ever saw him play. Like, oh, that guy's different. Jesus Christ. He's everywhere the ball was at, and he's huge.
Yeah, he was a freak.
Yeah.
He was like the Randy Moss of defense.
There were certain cats you could see like that. Like, for instance, Devin Hester, I didn't think he would make it in the league as a DB, but as a returner, when Chicago picked him, I said, oh, he's about to be different. He's about to kill the return game. I saw it. It was easy to see.
I mean, so with Ed Reed, if Bill Belichick tells you that Ed Reed is the greatest safety who's ever played the game, you got to respect it.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
and he wanted him so badly.
100% respect.
He said he was playing chess with Ed Reed.
Yeah.
And how many times does the hoodie say he's playing chess with one particular? Not too many.
That's not a quarterback.
Right, that's not a quarterback. Exactly.
All right, so Steve Atwater at 6. I like it. Dude, he hit so hard. Jesus Christ. He hit so hard.
Stop Christian Okoye and Barry Word in their tracks.
And he wasn't that big either. He just hit. He understood the timing. Hey, this timing was so good.
He had a younger brother who played running back for a high school in Washington, D.C. My high school played against him. He got handled.
Number 5, the Missile. You could see him all over the field. Troy Polamalu.
Troy.
Dude, he was just different. He's different.
You said the Missile. I thought Quadri Ismail. I'm like, that's the Missile.
Nah, in the Pittsburgh area, we called him the Missile because it looked like the smoke coming from the missile was his hair. You could always see him.
I mean, changed the game, period. I mean,
Yeah.
When he came out the game and something happened, he'd come in and change the game.
He would just do things. He just saw things and just would do it. He ain't tell nobody shit. He just was doing it. I see it.
I've never seen a player run up to the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped, turn their back to the quarterback, run to a spot, turn around, pick it off.
Oh, yeah, that was nasty.
Yep.
And then my all-time favorite play from him is jumping over the offensive line on 4th and 1 and catching the quarterback as he's getting ready to hand the ball off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, you're on a whole different level of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tomlin and I don't forget who the defensive coordinator was. It's just like they're doing like Arians is with Tom Brady now. You just got to let him do whatever he wants to do. Just let him do it, whatever. With Troy, they literally just let him create.
Well, so it was.
Never know what he was going to be doing. He'd run up to the line of scrimmage and he'd back
Dick
out.
Duran, right? Am I right, Dick Duran?
Yeah, Dick Duran.
Yeah.
So it's funny because he's extremely deeply religious, and he said that half the time he didn't know what he was doing. That God was just guiding him.
I remember that.
So there's a funny story from Pat McAfee.
Some of that Prel got in there too. Some of that Prel.
That against Pittsburgh, if they lined up in this field goal defense, that they were going to run a fake field goal guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And it's because Polamalu, his entire career, lined up in the exact same spot every single fucking time. Mm-hmm. So they line up to do it, and it's just like, oh shit, they're in the formation. We're going to run the fake. As soon as the holder starts to call out the cadence, no, it was Pat McAfee. He was the holder. Started to call out the cadence. Fucking Polamalu goes from where he is at his entire career and goes and fills the gap where the fake field goal was supposed to go. And it's just like, how and why the one time. And so it was this mystery for like 15 years. So he had him and they interviewed him. He said, how did you know we were going to run a fake right there? And he said, I didn't know you were going to run a fake. He said, right before you guys, right as soon as you start to do your cadence, I thought, we don't have any film of me in that other hole ever. So I should probably go over there just to present it as like a piece of chess. And
That's ridiculous. Come on, man. That's what makes you a Hall of Famer.
That's God. That's God. That's the intuition, but that's God telling him, you know what? You should probably go over in that hole right here. Like he didn't even know that he just stopped a guaranteed touchdown on
can't explain why they did some of the things that they did. Great plays that maybe don't show up on the stat sheet. Come on, man.
Shit like that. It's just like how. But that's him. My second favorite play from him is the one-handed interception where he dove and literally caught it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look like he was that fast because he was kind of thick. But he was really fucking fast, man.
I know his hair would be flapping in the breeze. So
yeah. This is back when I used to really like college football. And seeing as how my family is Pittsburgh fans, when Pittsburgh drafted him, I literally called my brother and said, you just got a fucking monster. Because at USC, he was doing the same shit. I was like, this guy he is amazing. He's just one of those guys that everywhere the ball is, he is.
You also have to think about the defenders USC was getting. They had him. They had Brian Cushing, who was a kid from Jersey, played for Don Bosco. And what it was at St. Peter's, where the Twins that are on New England right now went against him. And in an epic high school game. So you had that on defense. You had what's his name? The long blonde-haired dude who played on Green Bay for years. Who was sacking everybody. He was on that.
Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews, yeah. Matthews, yes.
Clay, A.J. Hawk.
A.J. Hawk was on that team. And then you had the defensive line. I think almost all of the defensive line went to the league.
They had the big nose guard.
Yeah. So those USC teams, the Pete Carroll effect, obviously. Yeah. But those USC teams, their defenders were amazing.
All right, so at number 4, we got Larry Wilson.
Larry Wilson is what I was trying to think about. Number 37, little short white boy. He used to go with Harold Carmichael a lot, who was 6'8", and they always used to do battle when the Cardinals used to go against the Eagles, and he got a lot of respect. Hit hard. Yeah, well, they say he revolutionized safety blitz, so he was basically the first safety that was coming up and laying the wood.
Only 190 pounds.
That's it. He passed away not too long ago. Yeah.
Paul Krause at number 3.
Paul Krause is who I was talking about. That's the safety out of Minnesota Vikings who had, I think, no, he actually had an 81 interception.
81,
right?
yes.
Dang. What I'm talking about.
12 in his rookie year.
Right.
Which is still an NFL record.
And he wasn't getting the props like that. He wasn't, because, I mean, he played on the Purple People Eaters, and there was a lot, I mean, he had Hall of Famers all over.
Yeah.
Alan Page, Jim I mean, he had Hall of Famers all along the line.
I mean, you do pick off a lot of passes when you got Hall of Famers all at the front.
Right. You're getting, like, massive pressure on the opposing quarterback. But, hey, is that his fault?
Nope.
That he took advantage of that?
Nope.
He still turned the ball over. He caught it. He didn't drop it. He caught it 81 times. So, and 12 in his rookie year. So good on him.
Number 2, Ken Houston. That makes sense.
Yeah, Ken Houston was a baller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was basically the NFL's best returner until Devin Hester.
Let us take a guess at who was number 1. I say Ronnie Lott.
Of course. Yeah. The gold standard of safeties, because it is Ronnie Lott. This guy cut off a finger to stay in a game.
He cut off his pinky. He was like, "Can I play next week if I just cut it off?" It was like, "Yes, do it."
Wow.
Just do it. Just do it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Shoot him up with some of that.
I can see Brian Dawkins doing that.
And they won the chip.
Yeah.
And hold up, he was also a rookie when this happened. Just to be clear.
Yeah, but he was different from day one, and you knew it.
Yeah.
You knew it.
Yeah.
Man, Sean Taylor though. Whew. Good God. You know, the hit of in the Pro Bowl game is so funny to me because
the punter.
That just shows you he took no plays off ever.
Not in an All-Star game.
No. He was he was so big too. So big. He was literally like the Randy Moss of defense.
He was big, fast, heady. He was complete. He was complete.
Yeah, he was Ed Reed plus, 5 inches and 30 pounds. Because he was that big, and he would score if he got his hands on the ball, which he did a lot.
Yes, he did.
And he would absolutely
he would take off.
Yeah.
He was out.
He was out, and he would absolutely lay you out. He was bringing it.
Think about this. Think about this defensive backfield. Sean Taylor and Landry. LaRon Landry. I mean, it makes me think of the first black tag team championship of all time, Ron Simmons, right? And The Rock's daddy, Rocky Johnson. I mean, that's what we were looking at safety. If you don't know who Ron Simmons or Rocky Johnson are, YouTube them up. They're the first black tag team championships in wrestling history.
Well, Kerry, you know
they are.
You know somebody's arms are huge if you say their name and the first thing you think of is biceps. If you say the name LaRon Landry, all I think is biceps.
That's it. That look like thighs. Right. And that's what would have been Sean Taylor and LaRon Landry at safety for the Washington football team. Stupid.
Didn't they have a dope corner back then too?
They did. They did. Ooh, his name is escaping me. My cousin would know this.
Didn't DeAndre Hopkins literally break his ankle? You know
who they had? Oh, did they still have? No, was Champ? No, Champ was gone because they traded Champ to Denver so that they.
Didn't the kid go to Virginia Tech? Fuck, dude, that's Weed's got my recall fucking slow as shit, man.
They have a kid from Virginia Tech. I'm not thinking of his name right now.
I'm gonna have to look it up because
I'm thinking when was Fred Smoot there? Because it was Fred Smoot, but Smoot would get smoked.
Yes.
I mean, Smoot was dope in college, but like Smoot he had a couple. He had some good plays in the league. I'm not gonna shit on him. But no, it was post Smoot. Smoot got squeezed out. I think, was it a kid out of Auburn?
Let's see. Sean Taylor was 2004 to 2007. So
Yeah. They did have a good corner though. Like their defensive backfield was looking nice. It was like one of the strengths of their team.
all right, see, this really bothered this. I'm telling you this. Oh, they had LeVar Arrington back then too.
Hmm. Who was knocking helmets off?
Literally.
They had a defensive end that was pretty good then too. I think did Bruce Smith leave already, or was Bruce Smith still in Washington? No, Bruce Smith was done.
All right, corner. Where
He
you
already
guys
got
at?
a sack. He was done.
Sean Springs. Damn it.
John Springs.
Roger Harper, how did you remember Sean Springs? That's Ohio State through and through.
I knew like Champ. I knew it was another big corner because Champ Bailey had left.
That's what I'm saying. I knew, and it was Sean Springs was one of those Ohio State players that I didn't mind that he went to Ohio State because he was just fucking dope.
Yeah, he was so dope.
I couldn't.
But we also have to talk about it, and I know you hate. Well, no, you used to hate Ohio State.
That's what I said. Used
So
to.
let's just talk about the runner players: Terry Glenn, Sean Springs,
Yeah, retarded. That.
Joey Galloway,
Robert Smith. I mean,
two-time Heisman Trophy winner ever, Archie Griffin.
I mean, they like.
All right, so can we talk about the?
Especially like late '80s and '90s, there was like a run. Orlando Pace, they had a run of players.
Can we talk about the
Danny Wilkerson.
the offensive LaRon Landry?
Okay.
David Boston, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right, David, who always was trying to go at Charles.
Yo, he was a beast.
Would.
Yeah,
He
was.
lifted himself right out of wide receiver. I know that much.
He was doing them roids.
Dude, he got so
He
big.
was.
Like,
Come on, he didn't need to.
nah, he was dope, man. He was dope.
He was
I don't get it. He didn't need to.
Yeah, he had hands too.
He did.
Fucking Sean Springs. I can't believe I couldn't remember that.
Yeah, number 24.
I should remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember a kid named Rob Kelly. When I left Ohio State, 24 was up for grabs. Rob Kelly, he got drafted by the Saints. Played.
I'm about to say he made it to the league. Yeah.
He wanted 24. Sean came in and took it.
Mm-hmm.
And took it from him. He was mad as hell. Rob Kelly was.
Yeah, but guess what? You see where Sean Springs went, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You see how it panned out. It panned out right.
Yo, so after that, the next year was Sean Taylor. Ryan Clark got drafted by them. So imagine.
Yeah, he went there first. Then he came to us. Then he went to.
Imagine the two of them blossoming together. They would have literally been sending people to the hospital. Like, people would have died.
You would have had. Well, you would have had. Todd Pinkston, former NC State wide receiver who went to the Philadelphia Eagles. 6'4", 5", like a $187, which probably meant he was like a $170. I just remember it got to a point where almost every pass he went over the middle, it was alligator arm. Like he just was like, "You're 6'5", long wingspan. Why are you trying to catch like this?"
Because you're 140 pounds and
right. And I mean in college, but he was like, I mean, again.
Yo, so that DB that from Auburn that you were trying to remember was Carlos Rogers. That played.
Carlos Rogers.
See?
Yes, that is who I was trying to think of. Number 22. And I can give you the number. Like I remember.
That's what I'm saying. It was bothering me. I had to look up who these guys were. It was
I
fucking
was like,
bothering me.
I know where he's from. I know that it was Carlos Rogers. And I can tell you why. Because my cousin, he did not like him. He did, but then he didn't. Because he was like, we all played DB then, and we always have critiques of other DBs.
Wow, they had
moments.
The next year they had Troy Vincent and Adam Archuleta added into the Sean Taylor.
And see that I think was that when Joe Gibbs was back, because it felt like a lot of players was just like, "Who's this? What is this?" I think that was Joe Gibbs' second stanza, and then that's when Washington got better again. and then he left again to go back to do his NASCAR thing.
So then his last year, that's when they got LaRon Landry.
Got it.
Fred Smoot.
Mm-hmm.
Getting toasted, man. He used to get just beat out there. But, it's funny because they surrounded Sean Taylor.
You had Smoots.
Yeah, Sean Taylor had a lot of talent surrounded him in his 4-year run that he was in there.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Or was him being so dope made the players around him look better than they were because he was really fucking good.
You got to think about it. When he was playing with vets who had been in the league, Sean Springs had been in the league for a while. So he's helping them out. And then guys his age or even younger, he's such a magnanimous talent. Of course, he's helping them out. So yeah, I think both things can be true.
I mean, he's like one of those players that I don't care how long you've been in the league. The first day of practice, all the vets are just like, that guy.
He's different.
Yeah, that guy's different.
You know it immediately. Even in college, right? You have walk-ons. And then you go through drills, and this one guy just keeps standing out. You're like, who is that? Wait, what's his name? Is he on scholarship? Nah? Where he from? The players start asking questions, and then he shows up day in, day out. Yo, you start looking at the scholarship players like, yo, he's better than this kid.
Well, you always have that guy, but you always have also the guy that's faster than everybody. And everyone's just like, who the fuck is that guy? Why is he faster than everyone else? Where did he come from? Did he probably didn't even play football in high school, maybe his senior year. Track.
On all stats.
Yeah, track guy,
Yeah.
We had one of those in college. He clocked it at a 4.2 in college. He couldn't catch for shit. But
of course not.
But
or else he would have been recruited by everybody.
But boy, if you got the ball in his hands, he was out.
Gone. It was it.
We had one you guys all know of, Terry Glenn.
Yeah, Terry Glenn, man, just.
But then, it was the Bill Parcells effect. Once Bill Parcells said, I don't know if she shows up, he activated something in Terry Glenn, RIP, but he activated something in Terry Glenn, and Terry Glenn won Rookie of the Year and never looked back. Like, Terry Glenn was that dude.
Yeah, Terry Glenn was dope. That was another Ohio State player that you were just like, all right, that guy's dope. Yeah, all right, whatever.
No, they found these. I just like we asked Roger before. I was like, where did they find all these fast dudes in Ohio, like in Middle Marion, Ohio?
Dude,
where were they coming from?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, and that high school football in Ohio is something serious. Like, it's serious.
Definitely.
It's either you like these corn-fed linemen, or you are just these blazing fast receivers.
I mean, they always say, like Florida, Texas, obviously, because it's year-round football. Yeah. California's, things like that. But that Pittsburgh, Ohio area, oh my God, the high school football there is.
Ohio, that whole.
All right, so we got like.
And also, let's not forget Newport News, Virginia.
Yes.
And Virginia's cool, but Newport News in particular.
Not only they pump out athletes, they pump out producers, mega producers. Missy Elliott, Timberland, Pharrell.
AI, Allen Iverson, Ronald Curry,
Mike Vick.
Michael Vick, obviously Michael Vick, yes.
All right, so
Aaron
but we got like 1 minute left. So next week is Denver. So clearly we're going to end up talking about their quarterback situation, and then after that it starts to get really interesting. So I don't want to re-up this one.
Information, Kerry.
Huh?
Send me that information for that.
Yes, we'll do.
Yes. So as always, guys, I appreciate your time and your knowledge. I will see you next week. We will be in touch. RIP P 333. Thank you for everybody that came through and watched us talk about football and smoke weed. It's ridiculous that you guys do this. It's hilarious. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, Flea, where were you, man? You missed it. So anyway, I appreciate Kerry and my motherfucking homie, Roger Harper, coming through talking about football. And we kind of went in on the Carolina Panthers, but it's kind of obvious what's needed in order to fix them. So now that we've gotten into like 7, 8, 9, 10, we're into this section of the NFL draft, it's a little bit easier to pick out what they're going to do based off of what they need, because the amount of needs is becoming less and less because these teams aren't that terrible. So anyway, shout out to you guys for coming through. Flea, yeah, rewind this one. Nice didn't pop up, but you already know. I will be mixing a beat later on, so see you guys in a little bit.